So hello there everybody. I'm opening my new watercolor set that came part of this art set with an easel. And I'm opening up the watercolor part of it. I also got gouache paint, acrylic paint, and oil paint to work with. I've never worked with gouache paint. I've done acrylic. I haven't done oil since high school, since I was 17 and I'm 39 almost. And but today I'm going to focus on the watercolor set that I got. The brand that I got this art set from is called Meeden, M-E-E-D-E-N, as you can see. And I'm just going to be opening the brushes here and seeing what they gave me to work with. I haven't worked with watercolors, to be honest, you guys. I can't even remember. So that means it's not within the last 7 to 10 years if I can't remember the last time I did watercolor. One reason I don't work with watercolor often is because it frustrates me. It's like my Achilles heel, because water is hard to control because it's movable, and depending on the gravity and the way you tilt the paper and the concentration of the color, it affects how it looks with watercolor, and I could never control it. Acrylic I can blend, I can control shade to light to dark, same with oil. But I've always been a little frustrated with watercolor, to be honest, you guys. Ooh, so these are the paint brushes that Meeden gave me to work with. This is not a sponsored video. This is the set that Jesus Christ told me to get while I was in prayer. And I was asking him where I should send my tithe. He said, "My love, I would love to get you something for Valentine's Day this year." And he said, "What have you been really wanting?" I said, "Lord, I've been really wanting a paint set. I haven't painted in what feels like years. I've done a lot of marker and inking and pencils, but I want to kind of get back into painting." So he bought me this beautiful French easel that is tabletop and floor easel. And so I'm going to be using these brushes. So it looks here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 brushes. I got a flat number 2, a round number 3. I got a filbert number 2, a round number 4, a filbert number 6, a round number 5, a round number 1, a round number 6, round number 2, and a fan number 3. So these are going to be the paintbrushes that I'm going to be using today. Included in the set was this watercolor paper. I'm so excited that it came with watercolor paper. I love watercolor paper because it's the heaviest, thickest paper available, I think, that you can find available. This is 300 GSM. And so this is what I'm going to be using. Open sesame. Oh my goodness gracious. This is what I'm going to be using. I only have 10 sheets of this watercolor paper, so I'm going to use it wisely. I don't know what I should draw today, you guys. I kind of feel like drawing something in nature. I thought about like some kind of watery or ocean scene because I'm using water. And of course I'm going to stick to what Jesus told me to do last year, which is to draw the words of the Bible and to draw his words and the words of his son Jesus, inspired by the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to be doing that and continuing to do that. So let's open up this paint set so we can get going and we can draw a beautiful piece for the Lord and for his saints. I'm so grateful God made me an artist. It wasn't a choice, it was designated at birth, but I started coloring when I was 3 years old with my grandma. I remember very vividly being 3 to 5 years old and going to my grandma's apartment in Mexico, always seeing this little wind-up clown, and she would always get out these broken crowns in an envelope, and we would draw and color together. Those are my earliest memories of art. So it was inspired by my grandma Josefina Rivas. And so these are the colors that we have to work with. We have the paper now, we have the colors here to my side, and then we have the palette, which I think I will also put to the side for now until I get the colors going. Okay, so we got all that going, and now we got the paper. So let's see what we can come up with today, you guys. Okay, so here's the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful watercolor paper Jesus got me. Here are some pins, so we'll put those there. And yeah, let's see what we can come up with. I'm always open for suggestions. If you guys have suggestions of Bible verses you would like drawn, or just a picture or animals you would like drawn. I can always do that for you guys if you leave me a DM or something. I also got this miniature paintbrush set by Nick Pro, and it just comes with 21 small paintbrushes for detail lining, because I really want to learn cross hatching, be able to do some detail work. So that comes in this nice velvety pouch right here. So let's pull out all the paintbrushes that came here. Fortunately and unfortunately, they're individually wrapped, so I think I will just unwrap them as I want to use them, so I don't spend all the time in this video unwrapping. I got my water, I got my palette, I got my brushes. Okay, so I think today we'll do a nature scene, and we'll start with Genesis. Since that was where God began, let's begin there. So this drawing is gonna be based on the book of Genesis and the creation of the Garden of Eden and the creation of animals, plants, rivers, waters in the heavens, clouds, skies, planets, everything that's beautiful and lovely about creation. So that's what we're gonna be doing here. So we definitely are gonna need some greens. So let's go here to our green section. And put some greens down. I definitely think I'm going to be using this pale green. So let's get this little guy open and let's start using our watercolor. So here I'll put some green. I'm just going to do a solid green right there. I think I'm going to do a lighter green here. And then a really lime green here. So I'm going to put very little green here. Okay, so those will be my 3 shades of green that are gonna like make volume for all the different leaves. So here I'm gonna make a little lime green, so I'm gonna put a little more yellow than I did green. This is gonna be really pale, so I have to put even more yellow. Okay, so I got yellows and greens for the sky, and then we need deep blues because we're gonna be drawing the midnight sky. So let's do cobalt blue. Since this is kind of our leaf area, let's make this part of our palette kind of the night sky. I'm going to be mixing some of this blue with black, some of this blue with black, then just regular blue, and then some blue and maybe lighter blue, or some white. So that's going to be for our nighttime sky. So let's get our black to make some nighttime blue shades here. We don't need a lot of black because black is kind of ultra powerful. And then we'll leave regular blue, and then I just want to make like a green blue here because I love green blue. It's a pretty color, and green and blue are kind of similar colors. Okay, so then we got that, and then I think I will draw. So let's just start there. Okay, so let's now put away the colors. Let's get our water. Got to get our water going. So I'm going to put little bits of water in all of these containers so that, yeah, we can get going. Bloop, bloop. Okay, we get a little more water. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, and a little more water. Bloop. And bloop. Okay. Okay, I think that's all the water. If I need extra water, there's a little water. And then I think to, get the paintbrushes clean, I'll do these 3 just with blank water. Okay, you guys, we are about ready to start watercoloring here. And I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so let's mix our colors. I'm just going to start with this paintbrush right here. It just looks good to start with. It's kind of a pointy one. This is the number 2 from Meeden. And we're just going to mix our colors here so it's not so concentrated. We're just going to be mixing it till it's nice and deep and colored the color that we wanted. So as you see, I made a deep green, and then I made a lighter grass green here. And this is going to be the lightest one of all. This should be ultra lime green. If not, I can always put a little more yellow. It looks kind of similar. So I think I will add a little more yellow to that, to be honest. And I will also maybe just add a little there. Okay, so now let's mix our blues and blacks. This is going to be for our nighttime black sky. And I really, really, really love the cosmos. If you do not know that about me, that is just something I really love. I love how God, in the book of Job, challenged Job and said, Job, who made the Pleiades? And Pleiades are a 7 sister star cluster in the sky. And who made the belt of Orion? And it kind of left Job speechless, per se, because he didn't know what to tell God after he said that. So I've always been fascinated by the star, and I've also been fascinated just by the celestial objects, because it also says in the Bible that God calls them out each day, name by name, each one of his stars from his sanctuary. So that's kind of cool too. Okay, so we got our blues, we got our blue blacks. These are kind of looking similar. And then let's just water this out. Okay, so there's our basic colors where we're gonna start making the rivers and stuff like that. Okay, so here we go, you guys. Let me just get a paper towel here so I can dry the brushes I'm using. Let me put my colors over here and let's get going. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with the background. So I'm gonna use a kind of broader brush, and I'm gonna take my colors here and I'm just gonna be blending them in with the backsplash. I'm gonna do something where you apply water first. I think this will provide a more blended look that I'm going for the nighttime sky and the daytime sky that I'm going to be painting here, drawing the book of Genesis and coloring the creation of the earth and the plants and the Garden of Eden and all the animals. So I laid down my first blue, or my first base of blue, and then water, and then I'm just going to come in with the watercolor here. This is going to be the nighttime sky. It's going to be spotted. So let's make some spots, because, the nighttime sky is spotted. And I think they kind of will look like stars in a way. So I kind of want to come in again with a little darker blue, a little black, which will give me kind of like an ultramarine blue, which is ultra cool because God made ultramarine blue. So I'm just going to waspy it here and try to get all the white. I don't really like leaving white spots in my paintings, but I kind of like how it's kind of wispy here. So then let's go with this green. I love this blue green I made. And then let's go with some more spots. Let's go with some spots around here. Spots. What's also cool, you guys, I learned this in high school. If you put salt on watercolor, it actually can make crystallized little stars. So let's do that. Let me get my salt shaker. Okay, so I learned this from my high school art teacher. So I'm just gonna put little grains of salt on here, you guys, and you're gonna see that it's gonna look like little stars. So I think I'm gonna come back in with some more water and some more blue and just really get this nighttime sky going. Just really get it going with some water. I think the more blue I put on there and the more water, the more it's gonna crystallize. So these are just like the words of God going out into creation. The big bang, 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 bang. Let's get a little midnight blue going. Get some black going. Get some black going here, because he did make the darkness, and darkness is as light to the Lord. And then let's just come with the little water spots everywhere. Oopsie daisy, kind of made markings here, but okay, that's okay. Oh, let's try to fix that. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that's how I think I'm gonna leave the daytime sky. I think I'm done with this blue paintbrush. And I think I'm gonna start messing with the greens a little bit and put in some green leaves. Now, before I do that, I'm gonna want to let this dry because I don't want to mix the blues with the greens. So I'm gonna pause this video and I will be back sooner than later. Actually, I can't stop the video because I can't compile them together in one. So we'll just let it dry a little bit. So after God spoke the sky into existence, you know what? Where is my Bible? Let's read the scriptures that I am drawing. So here's the Bible, my good old bilingual Bible I just bought. So let's read the beginning of Genesis so you can kind of get words to what I'm drawing. So here we go. We're going to Genesis 1, the very beginning, where it was just the Alpha and the Omega. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit seeds bearing fruit, in which in their seed, each according to its kind, on the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, according to their own kind, and trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So I'm going to be drawing those first 12 verses of Genesis. As you see, I already got my nighttime sky. I applied water. I'm going to apply a little more salt because salt absorbs water. So when I brush off all these crystals, they're going to look like little stars, you guys. It's going to be so cute and cool. Okay, but let's get going with the green here. So I think for the green, you guys, I'm going to use my finer brushes. So I'm going to be using my NYX Pro liner here. Let's just pull this little guy out. And let's start using him because that's what he was made for. Okay, so I got my greens here again. And let's just go in with the original green that I think I like the most, which is this green right here.